Earlier this spring, I pollinated some daffodil flowers for purposes of breeding new flower varieties. It's time to start collecting seeds. Actually, it's past time to start collecting seeds. I already lost some. We'll talk about that. As you can see, the plants are dying down now, and you got to get them or they all drop out on the ground. So we'll talk about that and a little bit about planting them. It's just a little update here. So take a look at this one here and you can see that it's actually cracking open. Now these have gone from mostly green to turning yellow and threatening to open and drop their seeds in about 3 days. Yeah, now it's going to be too late within a very short amount of time. So you really do have to keep up on this. We're going to look at some in a minute that have already escaped us. So you see how this one here is splitting open. You can see the black seeds inside of there. This one looked pretty much like that here a few days ago, and this is plenty ripe enough to pick. You can see it's kind of like got this mottled tan and it's starting to shrivel up and look less plump. So anything that's, you know, not super plump and green is starting to kind of wilt down a little bit is fair game. This one here, it is still pretty plump, but it's starting to yellow. So I'm going to take that one as well. You'll get some of these where you can see that there's a pod, but there's, you know, it's hollow and there's nothing in it. You can squish it and there's nothing inside. Now here's the same variety as that one I just squished and it didn't have anything in it. In fact, you can see a dead pod here, and this is a live pod. So if it gets this far, there's seeds inside of that. And there's seeds in this one and in this one. This one is maybe a little greener than I want to pick yet, so I'll come back to that in a couple days. Come back to these in a couple days. I should be looking at what varieties these are. So this is trigonometry. That's great. That's one of my favorite for breeding stock. A lot of stuff that I pollinated did not pollinate at all. Hawaiian Skies, which I had high hopes for, didn't pollinate at all. Hopefully its pollen was viable, but it didn't take any pollination from other varieties. None of the double flowers that I pollinated did anything, so they might all be sterile. The doubles that I've gotten in the past, maybe they were from me getting the pollen from a double flower and putting it on another flower. So looking across this entire bed, in which I made a lot of pollinations, I don't see a single pod in here, so probably no seeds in there. Now these are young plants, meaning I just put these bulbs in. Maybe that has something to do with it. And then that one's still very plump, very green, very fat. It's not shriveling or wrinkling at all, so we're going to wait on that one too. Actia. So I'm real interested in Actia. I used it a lot as a pollen parent, so maybe that's the problem, is I use it a lot and it's not even fertile, because I don't know if it's fertile or not. You can look that up, by the way. Not that I would believe it anyway if I looked it up. So yeah, Actia didn't take any pollinations. Now we're going to go over to the other patch, see if we can salvage anything there. Now, I don't remember for sure if I pollinated any of these up here, but I usually do, because there's one variety here that I really like. But look how far gone these are, and that's because they're growing in this dry field with no irrigation and all this competition from the grass. There's one right there, and it hasn't opened yet, but it's just about to. You can see it's starting to crack, and they also do this where they droop down. So when they open, all the seeds just fall right out on the ground. This area, there are these rows, and they're all staked off by variety because I had to move these so my landmates could use the part of the garden that they were growing in. Really, I'm just holding them here, but you know, since they flowered, I thought I'd pollinate some of them. It is so tangled and overgrown in here that I'm not sure what I'll be able to find. So here is one. That's good. That seems a little green, a little bit surprising actually, but there it is. Come back for that in a day or a few days probably. I came out the other day and I did find most of these had opened, or all of them. This one had about 2 seeds left in it. I see a couple more back there. There's one here that I actually left a couple seeds, so I can just show you how this works. Hopefully they're still there, or if not, I could find them on the ground here. They're kind of hard to find, even though they're big and, you know, fairly obvious. So yeah, the seeds have fallen out of this. And usually I can't find most of the seeds. You know, maybe I did harvest that one. Maybe I'm thinking of this one over here. But I want to be real gentle with this, because if there's any seeds left, I don't want to knock them out. Yep, see that one just fell out into my hand. It was a dud though, but there's 2 good seeds in there. There's one right there. Got it. Gotta get it. There it is. There's another one and another one. So I found 3 seeds. Is that a 4th? And there were 2 in the pod. Yep, there's a 4th. And they pretty much fell like directly below the pod here. Cool. Here's another one that actually looks like it's still closed. Well, that's good news. Just 1 seed in that one. Well, here's a couple of nice ones. So this one is cracked open and it looks like a few of the seeds may have fallen out, but probably not, or not very many. And there's a whole bunch more right here. These are all the same variety. I'm going to see if there's a tag. Yeah, there is a tag. Yeah, this is a pink-rimmed daffodil. I don't know the name, but I like it. It seems to make a decent parent. Looks like we're going to have a whole lot of pink-rimmed daffodils. It's possible, too, that these were naturally pollinated because they will sometimes, or especially, you know, some varieties will tend to self-pollinate. Or not self-pollinate probably, but, you know, get pollinated naturally by insects. Now there's probably some more seed pods in here that I'm not seeing, but, you know, I'm only going to spend so much time digging around in here. I don't put a lot of time and energy into this project, and I don't want to start. The one thing I might start doing is hitting the stem of the flowers I pollinate with some kind of bright colored paint or something. Like, I don't want to tie a flag on, that takes too long. But maybe like a bright colored piece of masking tape, because it comes in all kinds of colors these days. That way, you know, I can just kind of cruise, like look through here and see this stuff real easy without investing a bunch of time and like making any kind of tags or anything like that. Someday I may get more into, you know, keeping track of parents or something like that. But for now, I just want to keep this as little work as possible. So my germination was very, very poor this year, and there could be 2 possible reasons. I started chilling them in the fridge late. I soaked them up and then put them in damp sawdust in the fridge. Just a couple were starting to sprout, but after I planted them, I let them dry out really bad. I just had not got into the mindset of like, I need to water the greenhouse yet. So they dried out, so that could have been a problem. But also, by the time I planted them, it's getting warm in there, and maybe they didn't have enough chill time. And this exact thing happened to me the previous year as well, and maybe even the year before that. So what I'm going to do is right now, I'm going to put in my calendar plant daffodil seeds around maybe the middle of January, which is when I start onions and leeks. So that should be early enough for them to get plenty of chill out in the unheated greenhouse. But they don't like growing in hot weather. So even the ones that sprouted, I mean, they just like look little skinny blades of grass, like really skinny. And they're not going to do that well because it's already hot and they don't like growing in this weather. So they're going to be dying down. So yeah, plant them early, make sure they get some chill time and that they're doing most of their growing in cool weather. There's really not a lot else to say about the project besides the previous video. In this video, just over the next years, now that I'm starting to get results, I'll just keep posting my results on Instagram at SkillCult and making videos just touring the results and the new flowers that come out every year. It's a fun project and it's going well so far. When I get my new homestead, I'll be moving all this stuff over there and hopefully continuing this project with a big piece of flat, fertile land where it's easy to cultivate and I don't have to plant stuff on, you know, random hillsides in the grass like this. Okay, catch you later. January 15th. Plant daffs and onions. Gotta do it.